જેમાં આપણે 1 થી 6 પેરેગ્રાફનું સોલ્યુશન કર્યું હતું. આજે યુનિટ 6 7મો પેરેગ્રાફ આપણે જોઈએ. Finally, my teacher began teaching me to read. I first read raised letter and later on read with braille. I learned to write with both ordinary as well as braille typewriter. I was well on my path to becoming a well-educated person. I was provided all the possible opportunities to develop my abilities, and I made the maximum use of them. I developed great confidence, and I even visited the President Cleveland at the White House. સવાલ છે, why does Helen say that she was on the path to become a well-educated person? શા માટે હેલન એવું કહે છે કે એક વેલ એજ્યુકેટેડ બનવાના રસ્તા પર હતી? તો શા માટે એવું કહે છે? તો કારણ કે હેલનને બધી જ ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી આપવામાં આવતી હતી. શાના માટે? એની એબિલિટી ડેવલપ કરવા માટે, અને એનો ઉપયોગ કરતી હતી. તો આપણે જવાબ શું લખીશું? હેલન ડઝ છે એટલે સેઝ કરીશું. હેલન says that she was on the path to becoming, સવાલ જ લખું છું અહીંયા આખું, a well educated person. બરાબર, આટલું સવાલનું લખી દીધી લાઈન. Helen says that she was on the path to becoming a well educated person because she was provided, I ने बदले she was provided all the possible opportunities to develop, my ने बदले लखीશું her abilities, and I ने बदले लखाશે she made the maximum use of them. Helen says that she was on the path to becoming a well-educated person because I ने बदले she was provided all the possible opportunities to develop, my ने बदले આવશે her abilities, and I ने बदले she made the maximum use of them. What shows that Helen was a confident person? કઈ વાત દર્શાવે છે કે હેલન એ કોન્ફિડન્ટ પર્સન હતી? તો આઈને બદલે હેલન visited the President Cleveland and the White House. હેલન visited, ઇવન નથી લખવાનું. હેલન visited, આઈને બદલે શું લખશો? હેલન visited the President Cleveland at the White House shows that Helen was a confident person. In 1890, at the age of about 10, I moved to the Perkins Institute. Here my teacher N.A. Sullivan continued to teach me. I could make friends with blind children here. My loneliness began to disappear and my progress of learning improved quite well. I learned Latin, Gujarati, German and arithmetic. Where did Helen moved in 1890? How old was she? કે હેલનને ક્યાં મોકલવામાં આવી અને કેટલા વર્ષની હતી? તો in 1890 at the age of 10, આઈને બદલે હેલન moved to Perkins Institution. તો આ રીતે લખાય. હેલન ડીડ છે એટલે મૂવનું કરીશું મૂડ. ઇન હેલન મૂડ ટુ બે રીતે જવાબ લખાશે. પહેલી લાઈન લખશો તો બી ચાલશે, અને બીજી રીતે લખો હોય તો હેલન મૂડ ટુ ધ પર્કિન્સ ઇન્સ્ટિટ્યુશન ઇન 1890. હેલન મૂવનું કરશો મૂડ, પછી લખશો ટુ ધ પર્કિન્સ ઇન્સ્ટિટ્યુશન ઇન 1980. હાઉ ઓલ્ડ વોઝ શી? She was 10 years old. She was 10 years old. Why did Helen loneliness disappear? હેલનની એકલતા કેમ ઓછી થવા માંડી? તો કેમ ઓછી થવા માંડી? બિકોઝ અહીંયા એને ઘણા બધા ફ્રેન્ડ્સ મળ્યા. તો હેલન્સ લોનલીનેસ ડિસએપિયર્ડ, ઈડી લાગશે, વાય આવે એટલે બીકોઝ હેલન્સ લોનલીનેસ ડિસએપિયર્ડ બીકોઝ. હવે આ લાઈન આઈને બદલે she could make friends with blind children. here ને બદલે in there અથવા તો in Perkins Institute. Helen's loneliness disappeared because she could make friends with blind children. What did Helen learn at the Perkins Institute? તો છેલ્લી લાઈન આવશે I learnt Latin, German and arithmetic. તો આઈને બદલે શું મૂકવાનું? હેલન લર્ન્ટ. આટલું તો તમને હેલન જ લખવાનું છે આઈને બદલે. હેલન લર્ન્ટ લેટિન, જર્મન એન્ડ arithmetic at the Perkins Institute. આગળ In 1896, I moved on to the Cambridge School for Young Ladies in Massachusetts. This was really a great achievement for a lady like me, who was blind, deaf, and could barely produce sounds for communication. I began writing poems and stories. Shortly before my exam, I lost my father. Although emotionally disturbed, I did my best in the exam. My teacher could not accompany me to the exam hall. There, a teacher spelled out the question in my hand and I typed out the answers. When the result was declared, I was so full of joy to hear that I had passed all the subjects. Why was moving to the Cambridge school a great achievement for Helen? કે કેમ્બ્રિજ સ્કૂલમાં જવું એ હેલન માટે મોટી સિદ્ધિ કેમ હતી? તો આપણે જવાબ લખવાનો છે મૂવિંગ ટુ ધ કેમ્બ્રિજ સ્કૂલ. મૂવિંગ ટુ ધ કેમ્બ્રિજ સ્કૂલ પછી તમે મૂકશો વોઝ અ ગ્રેટ એચિવમેન્ટ ફોર હેલન. ખ્યાલ આવે છે? મૂવિંગ ટુ ધ કેમ્બ્રિજ સ્કૂલ આટલું લખું સ્કૂલ સુધી, પછી તમારે મૂકવાનું છે વોઝ અ ગ્રેટ એચિવમેન્ટ ફોર હેલન બીકોઝ there were normal children and she was deaf and blind. બરાબર આ રીતે there were normal children and she was deaf and blind. અથવા તો moving to the Perkins Institute was a great achievement for Helen because moving to the Cambridge because normal children studied in this school and she was deaf and blind. ખ્યાલ આવે? Moving to Perkins Cambridge School was a great achievement for Helen because normal children studied in this school and Helen was deaf and blind. Why was Helen disturbed before the exam? હેલન શા માટે ડિસ્ટર્બ થઈ? તો હેલન પછી મૂકશું વોઝ Helen was disturbed before the exam. બરાબર, આટલું લખ્યું. Because I ને બદલે she, lost ને બદલે had lost, my ને બદલે her father. Helen was disturbed before the exam because she had lost her father. How did Helen appear for her exam? Helen એની એક્ઝામમાં કેવી રીતે હાજર રહી? તો Helen did her best. Helen did માયનું her best in the exam. Helen did her best in the exam. Helen was full of joy because શા માટે ખુશ હતી? Because I ને બદલે she had passed all the subjects. Because she had passed all the subjects. I remember my first day at Radcliffe College in 1900. I knew there were challenges in my way, but I was eager to overcome them. The professors looked far away as if they were speaking through a telephone. The lecture was sped into my palm as rapidly as possible. I would note down whatever I remember when I went back home. What shows that Helen was determined to study at the college? તો I ને બદલે she. She knew there were many challenges in her way, but I ને બદલે she was eager to overcome them. ખ્યાલ આવે છે? હેલન એટ ધ રેડક્લિફ કોલેજ તમારે અહીંયાથી લખવાનું છે. કેવી રીતે લખશો? ફરી એકવાર બતાવું. એટ ધ રેડક્લિફ કોલેજ ઇન 1900 લખવાની જરૂર નથી. તમારે જવાબ આ રીતે લખવાનું છે. એટ ધ રેડક્લિફ કોલેજ I ને બદલે she knew there were many challenges in her way, but I ને બદલે but she was eager to overcome them. Shows that Helen was determined to study at the college. ફરી એકવાર, at the Radcliffe College she knew there were many challenges in her way, but she was eager to overcome them. Shows that Helen was determined to study at the college. How did Helen study at the Radcliffe College? હેલને રેડક્લિફ કોલેજમાં કેવી રીતે અભ્યાસ કર્યો? તો એટ ધ રેડક્લિફ કોલેજ the lectures were sped into my ને બદલે her palms as rapidly as possible. પછી possible પછી તમારે મૂકવાનું છે and. I ને બદલે she, and she would note down whatever I ને બદલે she remembered when I ને બદલે she went back home. ફરી એકવાર, at the Radcliffe College the lectures were sped into her palm as rapidly as possible and I ને બદલે she would note down whatever I પાછું અહીંયા છે એને બદલે she remembered when I ને બદલે she went back home. On 28th June 1904, I graduated from the Radcliffe College. I felt proud that I became the first deaf-blind person to earn a Bachelor of Arts degree. I began to feel that I must educate people on the ways to help the blind. My prime goal in my life was to spread awareness regarding the poor, neglected state of the blind, their innate abilities, and their inspirations. I had to raise funds not only to sustain a living for myself, but also to start a project to remove darkness and miseries from the lives of the other blind people. I strongly felt that I must give the others what I had gained from my teacher એને. હવે એના ક્વેશ્ચન જોઈએ. Why was Helen proud? કે હેલનને શા માટે ગર્વ હતો? તો શા માટે ગર્વ હતો? તો પહેલી જ લાઈન છે that she became became the first deaf and blind person to earn a Bachelor of Arts degree. તો આપણે લખવાનું હેલન was proud because, બરાબર આટલું લખ્યું. because હવે તમારા પેરેગ્રાફની પહેલી જ લીટી I felt, આઈને બદલે she felt, સોરી એક મિનિટ હા, હેલન was proud because she became, I became છે બીજી લાઈનમાં, એને બદલે she મૂકવાનું. she became the first deaf and blind person to earn, because she became the first deaf and blind person to earn a Bachelor of Arts degree. What was the goal in Helen's life? હેલનના લાઈફનો ગોલ શું હતો? તો ત્રીજી લાઈનમાં માય પ્રાઇમ ગોલ ઇન માય લાઈફ વોઝ ટુ સ્પ્રેડ અવેરનેસ રિગાર્ડિંગ ધ પુઅર નિગ્લેક્ટેડ સ્ટેટ ઓફ ધ બ્લાઇન્ડ, ધેર ઇનેટ એબિલિટીઝ એન્ડ ધેર ઇન્સ્પિરેશન. તો બેઠી લાઈન તમને મળે છે માય પ્રાઇમ ગોલને બદલે હેલન્સ ગોલ વોઝ. હવે ફ્રેન્ડ્સ કઈ લાઈન લખજો તમે? પહેલી, બીજી, ત્રીજી અને ચોથી લાઈનમાં તમને મળે છે હેલન્સ ગોલ વોઝ ટુ સ્પ્રેડ, આવો શબ્દ તમને મળે છે SPREAD, સ્પ્રેડ એટલે ફેલાવવું, અવેરનેસ રિગાર્ડિંગ ધ પુઅર બ્લાઇન્ડ, મળે છે આખી લાઈન, એ મળે જ છે તમને. poor neglected state of the blind, their innate abilities and their inspiration. છેલ્લો શબ્દ આ છે. હેલન હેડ ટુ રેઝ ફંડ્સ, હેલને ફંડ ઉઘરાવવા પડશે. શાના માટે? તો પાંચમી લાઈનમાં છેલ્લે છે આઈ હેડ ટુ રેઝ ફંડ, તો અહીંયા આપ્યું છે હેલન હેડ ટુ રેઝ ફંડ્સ not only, તમારે અહીંયાથી લખવાનું છે not only to sustain a living for herself, but also to remove, but also to start પ્રોજેક્ટ. પછી આખી લાઈન જ આપી છે પ્રોજેક્ટ ટુ રિમૂવ ડાર્કનેસ એન્ડ મિઝરીઝ ફ્રોમ ધ લાઈવ્સ ઓફ ધ અધર બ્લાઇન્ડ પીપલ. આટલે સુધી લખવાનું છે. ખ્યાલ આવે છે અહીંયા? આગળ હેલન સ્ટ્રોંગલી ફેલ્ટ ધેટ, એ સંપૂર્ણપણે શું માને છે? દ્રઢપણે શું માને છે? તો છેલ્લી લાઈન આઈ સ્ટ્રોંગલી ફેલ્ટ ધેટ I must give, સોરી આપણે આઈ નહીં લખવાનું, પણ she must give others what I ને બદલે she had gained from my teacher ને બદલે her teacher એને I ને બદલે she બરાબર I had gained એને બદલે she had gained my teacher ને બદલે her teacher. There came a dark cloud in my sky. I was deeply concerned about that. My teacher's eyesight was worsening day by day. As a result, she could not see clearly. She was brave enough to fight against her problem. But I was sorry because she did not heed to her problem of her eyes. Instead, she continued to help me. At last, my teacher lost her eyesight completely and became blind by year 1935. She sacrificed her eyesight for me. What a great sacrifice it was. If she had not supported and encouraged me to learn, I would not have enjoyed the beauty of the world. I cannot think myself apart from her. My heart always speaks, I love you, teacher. Why was Helen worried? શા માટે હેલન ચિંતામાં હતી? Why એટલે શા માટે? તો because થી. તો Helen was worried because my teacher, બીજી લાઈન, my teacher ને બદલે her teacher's eyesight was worsening day by day. Helen was worried because her teacher's eyesight was worsening day by day. Why does Helen say that her teacher sacrificed her eyesight for her? શા માટે હેલન એવું કહે છે કે એના ટીચરે એની આંખો એના માટે બલિદાન કરી? તો હેલન સેઝ that her teacher sacrificed her eyesight for her because she did not heed to her problem of her eyes and instead she continued to help me. મીને બદલે આવશે her. ખ્યાલ આવે છે? સોરી, HER. So Helen says that her teacher sacrificed her eyesight for her because she did not heed to her problem of her eyes. Instead, she continued to help her. If Miss Sullivan had not supported and encouraged Helen to learn, I would not have, I ne badle she would not have enjoyed the beauty of the world. Which sentence shows that Helen was very close to her teacher? I cannot think myself apart from her. My heart always speaks, I love you, teacher. This sentence shows that Helen was very close to her teacher. So friends, અહીંયા આ તમારે લખવાનું છે સ્વાધ્યાય પોથીમાં, અને સ્વાધ્યાય પોથી નહીં લીધી હોય તો લઈ લેજો, કારણ કે એક્ઝામમાં એક્સ્ટ્રેક્સ ઉપરથી 10 માર્કના સવાલ જવાબ પૂછાય છે.